At 61, shortly after retiring with $680,000 in savings, Elaine attended a free steak dinner seminar advertised as retirement education. By the end of the evening, an advisor had convinced her that a variable annuity with a guaranteed lifetime income rider was the only truly safe way to protect her savings from a market crash while still guaranteeing income for the rest of her life. She moved $400,000 into the product that week. Her neighbor Walt, retiring around the same time with a similar balance, worked with a fee-only advisor instead, built a simple diversified portfolio of index funds and bonds, and withdrew a modest, calculated percentage each year. 15 years later, at 76, Elaine's annuity had grown to roughly $460,000 in account value, a large portion of it locked behind fees and restrictions she hadn't fully understood at the time of purchase. Walt's portfolio, invested the same way for the same 15 years, had grown to just over $1.1 million, even after withdrawing income every single year to live on. The annuity industry sells over $300 billion worth of new contracts to American retirees and pre-retirees annually, and the pitch behind them is genuinely compelling on the surface. Guaranteed income you can never outlive, protection from market downturns, the peace of mind of knowing a check will arrive every month regardless of what happens to the stock market. For a specific type of retiree, in specific circumstances, these products do provide real value. But the versions sold most aggressively, often at free dinner seminars specifically designed to create urgency and trust in a single evening, frequently carries a fee structure so layered and opaque that the majority of buyers never fully understand what they've actually purchased or what it's actually costing them. The first hidden cost is the combination of ongoing fees embedded in most variable annuities with living benefit riders, the specific type Elaine purchased. Mortality and expense charges, administrative fees, fund management fees on the underlying investments, and the fee for the guaranteed income rider itself frequently combine to 3% to 4% annually, deducted from the account value every single year, regardless of market performance. On Elaine's $400,000 initial investment, that fee level meant roughly $12,000 to $16,000, leaving her account annually before any growth even began compounding, a drag dramatically higher than the 0.1% to 0.3% Walt paid on his simple index fund portfolio. The second hidden cost is the surrender period, a window, often 6 to 10 years, during which withdrawing more than a small percentage of the account triggers a substantial penalty, sometimes 7% or more of the amount withdrawn in the early years. Elaine, needing $30,000 for an unexpected medical expense, 4 years into her contract, discovered she'd owe a nearly $2,000 surrender charge simply to access her own money beyond the small penalty-free amount her contract allowed annually, a restriction Walt's portfolio, held in ordinary investment accounts, never carried in any form. The third issue is more subtle and rarely mentioned in the sales pitch at all. The guaranteed income being sold isn't actually growing at the impressive-sounding rate quoted during the presentation. Many living benefit riders guarantee growth only on a separate benefit base used strictly to calculate future withdrawal amounts, a number that frequently has no relationship to the actual cash value of the account, the amount that would be paid out if the contract were surrendered or passed to an heir. Elaine had understood the 6% guaranteed growth mentioned during her seminar as meaning her real account value, when it applied only to this separate, largely theoretical calculation used to determine her eventual income stream, not the money she actually owned and could access. None of this means annuities are inherently bad products, and dismissing the entire category misses genuine, specific use cases where they provide real value unavailable elsewhere. A retiree with no pension, deeply concerned about outliving their savings, who lacks the financial discipline or comfort managing a portfolio through market volatility, can genuinely benefit from converting a portion of their savings into guaranteed lifetime income, ensuring against the specific risk of running out of money in very old age, a real and legitimate concern actuarially. Simple low-cost immediate annuities, purchased directly rather than through a commission-driven seminar, and used to cover a portion of essential expenses alongside Social Security, are a very different product from the complex, high-fee variable annuities with living benefit riders that dominate the seminar and steak dinner sales channel Elaine encountered. The distinction that matters most is between a straightforward, transparent annuity purchased to solve a specific, well-understood need, and a complex product sold aggressively through a high-commission channel specifically designed to create urgency and confuse the actual cost structure. Financial advisors selling these complex variable annuities frequently earn commissions of 5% to 10% of the amount invested, paid immediately by the insurance company, a powerful incentive that shapes which products get presented enthusiastically at a free dinner seminar, and which straightforward, low-commission alternatives never come up at all. Retirees who avoid Elaine's outcome generally aren't rejecting the concept of guaranteed income altogether. They're working with an advisor paid a flat fee rather than a commission, who has no financial incentive to recommend one product over another, running the actual numbers on fees, surrender terms, and realistic account growth before signing anything, and treating free dinner seminar as a signal to slow down and independently verify every claim, rather than a sign of genuine, disinterested education, given that the entire evening's cost was funded by a company hoping to sell a specific, highly profitable product to the room. Elaine, now 76, still receives her guaranteed monthly check and describes real comfort in that reliability, a form of peace of mind that has genuine value to her even now, understanding what she understands about the product's costs. But when she and Walt compare notes, she's also honest that she wishes someone had explained, clearly and without a commission attached, what she was actually purchasing that evening, rather than learning the real structure of her own contract only years later, one surrender charge and one disappointing account statement at a time. The biggest lesson from Elaine and Walt's story is not that every annuity is bad. The lesson is that understanding what you buy matters more than the product name itself. Complex financial products are not automatically better financial solutions. Sometimes the simplest strategy, understood completely, creates the strongest long-term result. Fees, restrictions, and incentives are the details that determine the real outcome. Before signing any retirement product, always understand exactly what you own, what you pay, and what you can access.